ours on antisocial personality disorder.
Uh-oh.
And we're group 6.
Okay. For history, the first legally classified disorder was discovered by Pinnell in 1809. It was actually declared as psychopathy, not actually anti-personality disorder, until later. Later it was classified, as you can see, disorder in 1835 by James Pritchard. So then they finally separated the two out and declared the difference between the two. Legally classified in the U.S. In 1982, so that's when the United States was finally declared that. Required to have a conduct disorder before being diagnosed with APD. Conduct disorder is more of this, it's a thing you have to have before you can have antisocial disorder. And
So, delicious symptoms. It's very closely related to psychopathy. Some of them include being able to be really charming, and they're really good with flattery, and so they use their charm to manipulate people. They're a repeat offender, meaning once they start doing bad things, they don't know how to stop. They really don't have any regard for safety. Often, they will abuse drugs and alcohol. They will lie and steal frequently, and they show very little to no guilt or remorse for their actions. And a lot of the times they can be very angry and arrogant.
So when we were doing our research, Ted Bundy's name came up quite a bit. Even though he was a psychopath, the way he lured women into his car was he would be very charming and have a fake cast and kidnap them from there. So we used him as an example, and we have a couple of videos to show you guys. Okay, so the first one, this one is an actual interview with him, released this year. This was before I moved in it. I just do the next one. Yeah.
At the mention of the term serial killer, the name Ted Bundy is frequently one of the first to come to mind. Between 1974 and on his daily radio,
the minutes and hours that I have left as fruitfully as possible, and
so this is a guy who kills
see what
30
happens.
women
It helps to
in about
live in the moment, in the essence, that we use it productively. So right now I'm feeling calm, and in large part because I'm here with you.
For the record, you are guilty of killing many women and girls.
Yes, yes, that's true.
Ted, how did it happen? Take me back. What are the antecedents of the behavior that we've seen? So much grief, so much sorrow, so much pain for so many people. Where did it start? How did this moment come about?
Okay, when you look at him, he's just not reacting.
That's the question of the hour, and one that not only people much more intelligent than I have been working on for years, but one that I've been working on for years and trying to understand it. Is there enough time to explain it all? I don't know. I think I understand it, though. I understand what happened to me, to the extent that
Okay, so this is from a movie made about Ted Bundy, and this will give you a little bit more of a view of some of the symptoms.
Never seen anybody carrying that many books or studying to be a doctor.
Yeah, well, in this case, it's law school.
Well, those aren't law books.
Yeah, at least for everything else. Is there any chance I can get you to help me carry these to my car? I'm basically helpless with this cash.
Well, okay. What if I need more legal advice from you?
Deal. Over here. I hope this isn't going to make you late for class. I'm on the floor right there.
He killed throughout the 70s, so that's why people are not as...
Hello, girl. What's your name?
Suzanne.
Suzanne, there's There's been a bit of an accident. Your father's been hurt.
My dad?
Yeah, he asked me to come get you.
Is he okay? Where is he?
He's close to here. Yeah, he's gonna be okay.
What happened?
Well, he had a little accident, and here, why don't you...
Did you pause it?
It's a big word.
Okay. Clarence will get to me in a bit, but when diagnosing the disorder, it's actually pretty self-explanatory. You really just have to watch for the severity of the symptoms. The symptoms usually peak during late teenage years and early 20s. And like Tucker said, they have to be diagnosed with conduct disorder before they can be diagnosed with APD. And they also must be 18 or older in order to be diagnosed with this. It's more common in males and females in the US. Usually 3% of the male population has it and only 1% of the female population. And it's chronic, so the symptoms can fluctuate over time. And there is a common pattern between first-degree biological relatives who have the disorder, so if someone like in your direct family has it, then report it.
So this is Clarence. Clarence is 22 and he was born in March 5th, 1990. Yeah, Clarence is also just a terrible name. So biographical info. He grew up in Burien, which is a district in Seattle. His father was alcoholic and abusive, and his mother was addicted to cocaine. Usually people who get, it's terrible. Usually people who get this disorder have come from broken homes, and alcohol is often involved in drugs. So he's moved into foster care at age 12. He was diagnosed with conduct disorder when he was arrested for setting his neighbor's trash cans on fire, as well as stealing and abusing their cat.
Oh my god, that's the worst.
I know it's terrible, but this is to kind of demonstrate the extremes of what's kind of required for conduct disorder. Setting things on fire is actually pretty common. The abuse, not so much. He was arrested again at age 18 for sexual harassment, but the charges were dropped. And he's currently attending community college. I don't know how he's at it.
It's community college or what?
So when interviewing Clarence, he's very charming and flattering to begin with, and when he's talking about his classes and school life, he told blatant lies about his grades. Of course he's failing. When asked about his social life, he acted arrogant and very confident, like, yeah, I'm a boss, kind of thing. When asked about his childhood appearance, he became very defensive and upset, and when confronted about lying, he became very aggressive, which often happens with people with this disorder. Nope. Okay. There we go. So for treatment for Clarence, he goes to a therapist. Yes. He was in multidimensional foster care, which is common for kids with conduct disorder. It's foster care that happens over a period of 6 months. It's a team of different social and health care professionals. They provide case management and individual and family therapy as well for the kids. So yeah, and then he was referred to adult services when he turned 18. He went through a risk assessment, and it was decided he wasn't a huge risk at the time, and he's going to therapy twice a week and is going to start in a group environment. You should not give medication to people with APD. There will be bad reactions to that, mostly because they're usually smart enough to, well, not smart enough, I guess. They get upset when they feel like they have to be medicated. It's not fun. He's overexcited. Any questions? Kelsey?
Oh, why is it that they have to be 18 to be diagnosed with disorder?
I'm not really sure. It probably has something to do, I think it's just an adult disorder. I don't know.
It's to do with the adult, they hit the adult age now, they have to be diagnosed with conduct disorder because conduct disorder goes into, if it progresses any further, it can progress into a personality or antisocial personality disorder, but it can also stay as what it is. So you have to have that before it can progress into a personality disorder.
So since it's so aggressive, they...
Right. It just progresses.
Cool.
What is the conduct disorder? Is that low risk?
Conduct disorder is when you're a child, usually 8 to 16 years old is when it's most prevalent. It's mostly people used to call having a problem with authority or having an attitude, but now it's you set things on fire, and it's usually because of how your home life is and a lot of emotional turmoil. Setting things on fire, stealing, abusing animals or other people, lots of aggression. Yeah, considered psychopathy by some people, but classified as conduct disorder now. Yeah.
So how did, what's his name, Pino or Pino?
Pritchard.
Richard?
Yeah,
That
Pritchard.
was in like the beginning. I was wondering how he like discovered this.
You know, I'm not really sure. There's not a whole lot of information available about APD, as
Right.
we painfully discovered.
Yeah.
We
Because it's so closely
yeah,
related to
it was-
psychopathy,
It-
so they always
right.
assumed that it was just psychopathy, it was not APD.
So trying to get like on medication, does that have like a negative detriment on like their mental health or just like?
Usually it's just negative stuff. I can't even talk right now. It's negative for their mental health because they'll begin to realize, you know, I shouldn't be on medication. I'm too awesome for this or something. You know,
Right.
they'll just become angry about it over a period of time, given enough time. It's not pretty.
It's like them thinking overconfident of themselves, like they don't need that type of thing. It's like you start processing that you just don't, like you're fine and you think you're fine and like, but other people are realizing you're not type of things. So it's just all in the mind of the person who can test it.
Any other questions?
Good job.
Oh,
I have one more question. Did you say when they first started diagnosing this? Or do you know when?
1809 psychopathy was classified, and since they're so intertwined, we are just kind of going with that as the date that the disorder was really first discovered.
I was gonna ask you, what is the difference between psychopathy and APD?
Psychopathy, usually the symptoms are more severe and they last longer.
And it depends, but usually most serial killers are psychopaths. So when you get into that line, anything else?
All right, round of applause.